Hello and welcome back to Living Passionately with Pat Brown. Thank you for watching, subscribing, and liking my videos. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I want to share with you about my solo trip to Costa Rica. Now, I keep saying in our singleness, or even if you're married or in a relationship, it is really awesome to take time out to do things by yourself. On this journey to living passionately, a lot of it involves really getting to know who you are and being true to yourself. And of course, living your best life. So today I am sharing with you about my recent trip to Costa Rica. My trip was a delayed birthday gift to myself. I had a plan on traveling for my birthday last month in July, but was not able to do that. So delayed gratification still works. So I decided on going to Costa Rica. And guys, I have to tell you, I had such a wonderful time. Costa Rica is a place of beauty, not just in the way the country looks, but beauty in the people, the peacefulness. There's something in the atmosphere there that is just so relaxing, and the energy, just such a positive energy environment, fresh air, everything about that place, or I should say about 90% of the things that I saw during my visit, the feeling that I got during my time that I spent in Costa Rica was really positive and awesome. And I cannot wait to go back to continue to explore Costa Rica, because I just got to see like muy poquito of Costa Rica. And if you're looking for some place to go alone, I highly encourage you. Costa Rica has a population of over 5 million people, but the crime rate there is very low. People are so friendly from the time you entered into the airport. The custom officials, they welcome you, you know, they're serious about who's coming into their country and things like that. But they offer a very warm welcome. Then walking out and getting a taxi to my hotel, basically was escorted by one taxi driver to another because he asked if I was alone and stuff like that, and found out where I was going, and very personable service. And another thing to know is that it is a Spanish speaking country, but I would say a good 60% of the locals there, they speak English. But of course, if you're going to a country and you don't speak their language, you want to try as much as possible to communicate in their language. I just think that is being respectful. Of course, there is Google Translate that you can use, but you also need an internet to be able to use that, Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is pretty much across the island, but there are some areas where I was not able to have Wi-Fi, and it kind of delayed my translation. But there wasn't one time where someone else didn't like pop in. They had to help do whatever it is that I was trying to do or to guide me. So I felt extremely safe there going around in Costa Rica alone. I happened to meet this really awesome driver that worked for the hotel. His name was Marvin, and he took me around a couple of times. He gave me great advice on things to do, places to go, and I was truly grateful for his assistance. But one of the things that it really intrigued me there was my first morning when I woke up and had breakfast at the hotel. My hotel was not all inclusive, but they did offer breakfast, continental breakfast. Guys, I've never seen a continental breakfast that involved so much food. These people eat rice and beans with every meal. So there was rice and beans for breakfast. There was plantain, like regular pancakes and stuff like that, cereal, eggs, potatoes. They had cassava for breakfast. I am from Barbados. I love cassava, but for some reason when I find it here, I could never get it cooked to where my cousin Vonda and Shelly Ann cooks cassava. So this cassava in Costa Rica was perfect. And shout out here to one of my cousins in Barbados who developed his own cassava recipe to make fish cakes. So the fish cakes are made from cassava flour. They are so good. So I was happy to see cassava, they call it yucca, on every menu there in Costa Rica. They eat a lot of cassava. So that was very welcoming. And my favorite was the fresh fruit. Guys, every morning that place was laid out with fresh pineapple, watermelon, papaya, which I absolutely love. And I could never, ever get a papaya to go ripe here. I've given up on buying a papaya and putting it down to get ripe and to eat it nice and fresh. But I had that every morning for breakfast. So it got to the point, like by the third day, all I wanted was the fresh fruit. And I'm talking about watermelon with seeds, okay? Watermelon with seeds and grapes with seeds. And it just felt so good for my body, and I really, really enjoyed it. So getting away from the food and moving on, just the greenery of Costa Rica, it was so lush and green. The trees, the plants, the hotel had a huge ground, and they have lots of really beautiful plants out there at the hotel. And it was just really great to be out in this exhilarating freshness and the goodness of God's earth with things that are just growing naturally right there in its natural environment, going up and driving through the mountains. Oh my goodness. The scenery was beautiful. And I got to go up to visit the Payo volcano. And it was a little hike up to the volcano, but it was such a great sight to see. When I visit a place, I like to get out and do what the locals do. I like to enjoy the places, not just touristy places, but the things that makes up that culture, makes up that country. And to see this huge crate that is a volcano. And of course, it was at a very low level, wasn't erupting because you cannot go close to it, of course, if it was. But very quickly, it changes into, when we first got there, it was very clear. You can see right down into the crater. And then very quickly, it started to change and the steam was coming up and it looked very foggy. And that happens not very often. You're able to get like a very clear day to see into the volcano. But I mean, it was nature, and to see that this thing that could be so destructive and dangerous at the same time had such a beauty and quietness to it. And my visit to the volcano, the driver from the hotel introduced me to two guys that, of course, we started off as strangers, and they're like, "Are you coming with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I want to go visit the volcano too." A single visit by myself probably would have been like $120 to go from where I stayed in San Jose. The driver charged me $60 to drive along with these guys. And let me tell you, I laughed so hard. These guys and the driver, they were just going at each other, throwing out, like roasting each other. And I laughed so hard. And by the end of the drive up to the volcano, like we were all friends, we were all laughing. It was just so wonderful. And these guys were businessmen from Jamaica that were there on vacation, taking some time out to relax also, but from their work. But it was truly fun. And I was very fortunate to be taken out to dinner by a local family who was introduced by a friend. They took me to this fabulous restaurant that looked over the city of Costa Rica. The restaurant was like all glass on one side. It was three different levels, and it was absolutely stunning to see that view of the city. It's very, very hilly, or mountainous, I should say, Costa Rica. So driving around, you get to see a lot of wonderful views of the mountains and things like that. And if you're a person like me that loves nature, you would totally enjoy it. One thing that I also learned about Costa Rica, and it's part of its peacefulness, is that they do not have a military base. There's no military. They got rid of the military, I believe it was sometime like 1948. I'm not totally sure of the dates, but there's no military base there. So the day that they got rid of the military is also a national holiday now. Just imagine that. They celebrate the peace of not having to have a military. While I was there, Mother's Day was on that Thursday in Costa Rica, and Mother's Day is a national holiday in Costa Rica. Everything closed down on that Thursday. It was very quiet at the hotel. We got the same level of service, but most people were off that day. There was very low staffing at the hotel on that particular day, but it was truly awesome. Guys, I cannot wait to go back to Costa Rica. I got to see the Gold Museum. The Gold Museum is full of indigenous gold art and history. That cultural experience touched me emotionally to learn about the history of Costa Rica, its indigenous people and what they've gone through and still going through, and what they're trying to do to maintain the history of their island. Truly, truly amazing. But I must say, I did not get to the beach in Costa Rica, which means that I have to return to Costa Rica. So when I booked my hotel, I did not realize that I was about 3.5 hours away from the beach. To get to the beach, the driver was charging me, I think it was like $350 to take me to the beach. It was, like I said, a 3.5 hour drive from where I was. He would have stayed with me for the day and things like that and showed me around. That did not happen. I thought I could probably pay $350 to get on a flight to go somewhere else. So I have a reason to go back to Costa Rica, plan my trip a little bit different as to where I would stay so I can experience those wonderful beaches that I keep hearing about. There's a whole Caribbean side of Costa Rica, and I did not get to see that. So I'm looking forward to my next visit. But I really, really encourage you that if you're looking for a place to go on a solo trip, consider Costa Rica. It's a beautiful place, beautiful people, like I said, and it's such full of history and culture and beauty, relaxation, and positive energy. I hope that you enjoy my pictures from Costa Rica. There wasn't a whole lot of pictures I was taking in the moments. I truly felt at peace and home there. And until next time, remember to like, share. Thank you for watching this video, and I look forward to sharing with you on your journey to live passionately. Do not allow fear to paralyze the things that you are dreaming of doing. In the meantime, have a wonderful day.